the career advice. Now sit back and relax while you get advice that will take you to the next destination in your career or business. And now, Katrina Brittingham. Hello, hello. This is Katrina Brittingham, and we are here with another episode of High Tea with Me. We have our handsome co-host pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, let me
Back
see if I
with
can see my
us.
hands.
Back with us. You were missed um, by
I miss
me.
being here. Yes, yes.
But he has some very important work to do. And we always talk about the work life balance, and that's what he was doing. And so we want to support that and make sure that everyone comes back relaxed and rejuvenated and raring to go to help you get where you need to be in your business. Okay. I
Mm-hmm.
do have to say at the top of the show before I let Dr. Love do his introduction is that we have a sponsor sponsoring this show today.
Woo!
Yay.
Yay!
Always great to have someone help you pay the bills.
Always, always.
And so our sponsor is Kingdom Come online shop that the owner and founder is Anjali Sharma. She is a very vibrant young lady. I've had the chance to meet her in person, and she came to me, was like, I'm starting a business, and the rest went from there. She has a lot of like a gift shop. So it's greeting
Mm-hmm.
cards, it's mugs, it's anything that you can think of that you can print a name on or saying on. That's what she has. And they are inspirational.
Mm-hmm.
She also has a book that is very useful. It is a Christian bookshop, but her story is that she converted from Hinduism to Christianity. And so the book is about the
Ah,
transition and how to
okay.
transition well. The gifts are good for any occasion, graduations, birthdays, you name it. She has something for you.
Mm-hmm.
Something that we all could use a scripture or two sometimes, you know. Um, and it's
Absolutely,
nice sometimes to
absolutely.
have that little frame or mug to remind you that the Lord is your shepherd.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
And so she calls it purchasing with a purpose. And you would visit her at www.kingdomcomeonlineshop.net. And we will have our commercial for the break will be from our sponsor from Kingdom Come Shop. And now, with no further ado, our handsome co-host.
Hello, hello to the Love family. Miss Katrina, how are you?
I am wonderful.
Okay, good, 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 good. How was your day?
It was interesting.
Interesting. Okay, interesting. That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
It was
That's
it
always
was it was blessed because I made it through it, but it had some interesting turns.
okay.
Like,
Absolutely. That's what they teach us. You take those lemons and you
and
make
they
lemonade.
and I sure did.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? That's important. Listeners, how was your day today? Last time we were on, I remember we had someone tune in and said, "This sounds interesting." So, who's
Yes,
out there? Tune in. Let us know you're there. Say something. Say hello. Give us a comment. Give us
yes,
a
and
shout out. Say something.
you can comment on LinkedIn. You can comment on Facebook if you're on Venture Ready, and we'll be able to put your comments on the screen. So you can type if you're on YouTube or something like that. I will have to comment later because unfortunately they don't allow us to do that on that platform. So
Okay.
hopefully they'll come
Okay.
up to speed and allow us.
Absolutely. We'll stay with it. We'll stay with it. Yes, indeed. Okay, so tonight we have a great topic tonight. I wanted to share with our listeners that the topic we're going to talk about tonight is one of the most important topics when it comes down to relationship, when it comes down to the interaction with men and women. Uh, this topic is, if not the top, it's just right there. It's high. It's high. It's high.
Hmm.
And what we're going to talk about tonight is, I wish I had a set of drums. Drum roll, please. Very good, Katrina. Very good. We're going to talk about the woman's body tonight.
Uh-oh.
Okay, we're going to talk about the woman's body tonight. I have just been thinking um, about the woman's body. In the news, we have this big thing with the reversal of the woman's right to abortion. The Supreme Court reversed their decision, and I said we need to talk about the woman's body. It's important for uh, women to know.
Hmm.
Um, in my book, one of the angels of love brought the book, and she said to me when she read the page on the woman's body, it simply says this here: the woman's body is the number one interest in the world.
Yes, it is.
The woman's body is the number one interest in the world. The woman's body sells almost everything.
Yes, it does.
Okay, almost everything. I'll never forget my first job. I was working at Shilton Printing, and we printed magazines. In fact, it was Philadelphia based, but we printed New York's TV Guide, and we printed other catalogs for other companies. And one happened to be a trucking company that sold trucks, and they sold tools for trucks. And I just couldn't help but, the front of the trucking magazine was this big truck, and on top of the hood was a woman with a wrench in her hand. You know what I'm saying? And I couldn't help but thinking, when I saw the woman with the wrench in her hand, I couldn't help as a man but say, does she come with the truck?
Yes.
Or is she just there to draw attention? But it was just so interesting, as I grew and as I developed, to begin to see how the woman's body is used in advertising, marketing, commercial, the woman's body. So
Hmm.
she said to me, she said, I really didn't know that the woman's body was the number one interest in the world. She knew what she had, but she didn't know it was the number one interest. And I would wager to say there are several women that knew it was something, it was high ranking, but she didn't know it was the number one interest in the world. And that's absolutely what it is.
Yes, it is.
Now, I wanted to start off by telling this story, just my personal story. Uh, Many of you may not know. Some of you have known because I talk about it all the time. I have a wonderful wife that produced five wonderful hard-haired children for me. Yeah, five. You know what I'm saying? And it's interesting that you can have five children and each one of them are different. None of my children are the same. Every one of them are different. Can you imagine that? My mother had nine, and all of us are different. That's just remarkable. You know what I'm saying? That uh, a woman can produce 5 children or 9 children, and none of them are the same. That's amazing to me. But none of my children are the same. And for some reason, my wife and I, we always agreed that when it came down, well, I have 3 girls and 2 boys. Okay.
Hmm.
And we agreed that we both, had input and we both shared. But when it came down to the girls, she had the final say.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I could weigh in, I weigh in heavy, I say what I'm gonna say. But when it came down to the girls, she had the final say. That was it.
Hmm.
When it came down to the boys, I had the final say.
Right.
And that was it. Okay. And that is so important to understand because never did I think in the year 2022, in this age, in this time, under these conditions, with women doing all that they're doing, that the Supreme Court would take a matter or issue such as a woman's right to abortion, revisit the issue, and then reverse the decision as to her right. We're not talking about having an abortion. We're talking about the right to.
Hmm.
Okay. And that's so important because when you look at the Supreme Court, you see a reflection there. How many
Hmm.
men and how many women? Okay. 2 women, and I think it's what, 9 men?
I think so.
Something around there. But think about that. 2 women.
Hmm.
Hmm. Okay. And they voted to overturn that decision. Now, the reason I shared that story about my wife and I, because uh, I just think I just think it's right. When it comes down to the women, when it comes down to a woman, you know, I just think I think it's right. I think it's the right thing to do. I can't see it no other way.
Hmm.
That a woman would know more about her body than a man. I
Absolutely.
would think I would think that a man at some point would say, ah, you know, what should a woman have the right to 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 an abortion? I mean, this is America. Should we make a decision on that? Let me talk to my wife. Let me talk to the women. You would think that a man would reach out and get input or to pass the baton. But to all the ladies out there, I think it's just something that we just can't take lightly. That men would say, I'm going to tell women what they can or cannot do with their bodies. That's huge.
Well, it becomes a slippery slope, because there is so much with that. Um, because when it comes down to it, it's even comes down to um, health. It comes down to um, you know Is my body really mine? Do I have the right to say no? And I'm trying to speak on certain things without getting too sensitive,
Mhm.
because we had the no means no thing,
Mhm.
and everything like that. And so if you start telling, and we're the only group that people tell us what to do with our bodies, and so are we going to go back to where we say no? It's like, well, you didn't really mean no.
Mhm.
um the way you looked at me, or you were acting like you wanted it.
Mhm.
And what does that mean? Like, you've never heard a man say that, oh yeah, she said you acted like you wanted it, so I took it, kind of
Mhm.
thing.
Mhm. Mhm.
um and I don't mean to like laugh at it, but it's laughable because things like that don't happen on the other end. um you know Even when it comes to, someone putting their hands on you, you and I'm not saying that doesn't happen on the other side, but the whole thing of a woman being property, because at one point a woman's body was considered property,
Mhm. Absolutely.
um and everything like that. So we have to, just like you said, who knows, not just a woman's body, a woman's mind, a woman's thoughts, what she really wants to do. Even in today's society, a man's no is no.
Mhm.
There's no argument, there's no trying to convince him otherwise.
Mhm.
Even in this society, and I can say it because I'm a woman, I say no, or I have opinion, and it's not taken as this is her opinion.
Mhm.
It's like, oh well, and I've had it happen in business things and business transactions, buying a house, buying a car. Well, I know what you. I had my realtor when I bought my first house. I know what you're looking for, and I was like, no, that's not what I'm looking for.
Mhm.
This is what I'm looking for. This is what I want in it, and having to keep reinforcing that.
Mhm.
Had I not been a woman, and there's only two, you either a man or you woman.
Mhm.
Um, had I not been a woman, it wouldn't have been questioned.
Mhm.
Going to buy a car, my uncles were mechanics, they knew about cars. So they would tell me different things. And I would shop for cars by myself. And they would try to tell me things what I wanted. I'm like, no, this is what I want. Test driving a car, this doesn't sound right. This is doing this is pulling. They would get upset. Oh, you just don't know what you're looking for, or you just don't know what you're feeling. I'm like, no, I do.
Mhm.
And I had instances like where if my brother went with me to get a car, or my uncle, that wasn't that. Like, it was just, and they would walk up to them and they're like, no, she's buying the car. But then when I would speak, they wouldn't question. I had an issue when I had bought a car and the brakes were not there. Like, I literally put my foot on the brake and the brake wasn't there. This was after I had did the test drive and everything. I was like, something, now I took it right back
Mhm.
there. And they were like, oh, well, you drove it off. And I said, okay, I went around the corner. Like, I couldn't have messed up the brakes literally turning the corner.
Mhm.
And oh, you just don't know what you're feeling for. I said, nope, you're not taking this car. Y'all can have this car back. And I literally had to call my uncle. They were arguing with me. It was very nasty. The moment my uncle walked through that door, his whole tone changed. He wasn't nasty. He was respectful. They got the mechanic there and they had tightened up the brakes, and they was like doing the test, like, see, she knows what she's talking about. He said, one thing I know about my niece, she's been driving for a long time.
Mhm.
We're mechanics. We showed her some things. If she said those brakes weren't working, they weren't working.
Mhm.
But we're the only ones that get talked down to, like, oh, you are of lesser intelligence.
Mhm.
And that's where the slippery slope is. Like, well, she doesn't know what to do with her body. She does she we have to tell her because she just doesn't understand.
Hmm. 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 Yeah. That and and that's the thing when it comes down to being clear,
Mhm.
and that's my whole goal. That's my role, is to begin to, one, make sure that women don't take that lightly. That can't be taken lightly. You know what I'm saying? Her her body cannot be taken lightly.
Mhm.
Okay, because like you said, we've come from a place where, uh, in slavery, uh, it was property. You know,
Mhm.
years ago, white women were fighting for the right to be independent from her
Mhm.
husband. It wasn't the black woman; it was the white woman. Okay,
Mhm.
fighting to be independent because she says, "Yes, I have a voice. Yes, I'm a person. Yes, I have my own thoughts and ideals." And yes, she does.
Mhm.
Okay, and I thought it was important to say this because oftentimes in the relationship arena, we will talk about equals.
Mhm.
Uh, a woman and a man is equal. No, we're not equals. A woman has her area and her domain. A man has his area and his domain,
Absolutely.
and it's not equal. See, it's not equal.
Mhm.
Don't think equal. Okay, and the reason I thought about that, and I was laughing when I was just thinking about what I was going to share tonight, is, my wife and I, as I shared with you, we both, when it comes down to our children, the boys as well as the girls, we weigh in, and each of us has the final say. But now my wife, here we go with equal. Let me just tell you a little bit about equal. You know, uh, my wife, still to this day, think about this. To this day, my wife is still around the house. What the grandkids that come in, or one of the kids that come in, my wife will still slap one of the girls on the butt. She'll take my grandson to come in, and she'll pinch him on the butt. My
Mhm.
granddaughter comes in, and I mean, she's still touching her. Still rubbing and squeezing and punching, and they laughing and giggling and whatnot. I can't do
No.
that. You see, are you understanding
Mhm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's Nana. You know what I mean? Nana's still Nana's Nana. You know what I mean? I saw the other day. I'm looking at her, my little grandson. I mean, she got his little shorts down, pitching his butt, and he laughing, and he running and dodging all that. Listen, Pop Pop can't do that.
No. No. and
We're
and
not.
and that's the thing. It is a thing of that is not equal. And there are still, and depending on the household, but for me, there were certain things that a man did.
Hmm. Hmm.
Taking out the trash, putting together furniture, carrying heavy stuff. Um, and I don't want to do those things. And I
Hmm.
and I'll use this as an example. And like I said, this is me. This
Hmm.
is Katrina Brittingham.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Katrina
I have to
Brittingham.
say it for the audience because everyone has their different opinions on things.
Hmm.
And when I was growing up and I became of age, my brother became of age, they still have it, the selective services. I have
Hmm.
family members who have served. Pretty much, when I looked into it, I was like, "Dang, I'm pretty much a military family on one side."
Hmm.
My father served, my brother served, cousins married service people, and everything. It would You just couldn't escape it.
Hmm.
When I came of age, um, women could not join the military as far as combat.
Hmm.
And, they rallied for it, for the right to do it. And all while they were doing it, I was like, I don't want that right.
Mhm.
I don't want to be on the front line. I don't, if I don't have anyone shooting at me, I don't want to have a job where it's possible that people could be shooting at me and I'd be in war.
Mhm.
Um, so to me, and that is the role of a man.
Mhm.
Um, like I said, there will be people who disagree with me.
Mhm.
But one thing I said, I don't want to be on the front line. I want to be home with the babies, take care of the babies.
Mhm.
Because it's a thing of, for me, protection. The man is supposed to protect. And I don't want to be in a place where there's possibly a grown man trying to shoot me or hit me or whatever, and I have to try to defend and fend them off. And I'm not talking about like, oh, a robber. I don't want to do that either. But this
Mhm.
is someone who's trained to kill you.
Mhm.
That's a whole different level. So yes, when it comes to separate and not like you're together, but it's not equal. No
Mhm.
matter what I do, I'm never gonna be as strong as a man.
Mhm.
Period. Physically. Never. And so, yeah, we work together, we commune together, we cohabitate together,
Mhm.
but it's still not an equal thing
Mhm.
when it comes to that. And like you
Mhm.
said, even with um how we interact with children, like to the day, there are certain things that my god kids, my nephews, I can do that a man of of a certain age would not be able to get away with.
Mhm.
It just is
Mhm. Mhm.
that way.
Mhm.
And honestly, it's that way for a reason.
Mhm. It, it is so it is so important. And and I just thought about that. Just the woman's body. And I have, as I said, three lovely daughters. And just think about it. I think back on it. I was talking with my oldest daughter today. She called me about some things. My daughter called me. What I mean, I just sat down for a minute and uh, I was talking. Yeah, I was talking with someone today about my children, which are grown, and some things that if they don't ask me my opinion, that means they don't want it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I said I have a life outside of my children. I said, Dr. Love, got work to do. I got my wife, I got stuff I got to do. So I mean, I'm not sitting just kind of like my life revolving around my children, but
Hmm.
I'm sitting on the sofa, and first my youngest daughter called me. She got some questions to have. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got a quick question for you. Then my oldest son called me. Yeah, Pop, I got a quick question for you. Then my oldest daughter called me. I got a quick, you know what I'm saying? Then my middle daughter talking about what would we. She said, "What would we do without you?" I said, "Live." You know what I'm saying? You would live. Life goes on without me. I mean, I make it a lot easier, you know. But I was just thinking about my daughters, and I mean, my daughters have children, and I'm thinking, I laid them girls out, and I changed their diapers, I wiped their behind, I cleaned their teeth and poop, I cleaned their spit up. I mean, just all those things I did for my daughters, and then there comes a time when that's done. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Done. You know what I mean? She's a young lady now. Done. See,
Hmm.
see, that's what I really want to just make sure we understand is developing the sensitivity. You know what I'm saying? See, it's important that a woman knows. It's important that a man begins to know that he has to develop and grow and develop a level of sensitivity.
Hmm.
You see, talking about the woman's body. My wife would pull me off to the side sometime. I'd be saying something or doing something, and uh, all my daughters, and women have that time. She'd be like, "Ed, lighten up. It's her time. Don't say that.
Mhm.
My wife pull it. I mean, she's pulling me. I mean, see, I don't know these things.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? There's a time when she's emotional. There's a time when what I mean? He's got to know all those things. See, the woman's body, the things that a woman's body she goes through mentally, emotionally, psychologically. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? All those things, physiology, all those things that takes place in her, it's all based on her body, who she
Mhm.
is, what she is, and what she's capable of. See, and as you said it, Miss Katrina, it just blows my mind that there's no legislation based on the man's body,
At
what he
all.
can, what he can or cannot do.
What
you
choices
understand
he can make
what
regarding that?
choices? What choices he can make? You understand what I'm saying? I mean, it's like he can produce a child, and it's like he produced a child. There's no legislation there.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
See, so when it comes down to me, and that's why you know, and men have even questioned me. A woman's relationship empowerment coach. Yes, because her side is heavy. I mean that's a heavy side.
Mhm.
It's a whole lot at stake there.
Mhm.
Okay, there's a whole lot to be taken into consideration there.
Mhm.
So we have to begin to make sure that she's clear that the woman's body not only is it the number one interest in the world, it's a phenomena. It's a phenomena. It's no other way to put it. It's
Mhm.
no other way to put it. Okay. And the reason for saying that is to begin to make sure women understand, don't take yourselves lightly.
Right. On that note, I'm gonna let you finish up this segment. We are about to go to break because we're actually over the half hour mark. So just to give you the 30-second warning.
30-second warning. And I will pick up on the other side. Don't take yourself lightly.
Right.
Don't take your bodies lightly. Don't take what you're capable of.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take it lightly. We're gonna pick back up on the other side.
Yes. See you after the break.
We'll be back.
Okay. Maybe and we are back.
All
That was
right.
that was our sponsor, Kingdom Come online shop, where the owner and founder is Miss Anjali Sharma. You can
Anjali.
visit her shop.
Hmm.
Yes, isn't that a beautiful name?
It is. It is. It is.
I like saying it, as you can tell.
Hmm. It just rolls off your tongue, Anjali.
Yeah, it does. And you can visit her shop at www.kingdomcomeonlineshop.net. That information will be in the description, so you can visit her shop online and check out what she has. As you saw from the commercial, she has a variety of things. You
Hmm.
name it, she has it. If she doesn't have it, she might be able to get it for you.
Okay.
So make sure that you visit her and help her grow her small business.
Yeah, that's important, and I'm quite sure she does ink pens and all that good stuff. So um, if you need ink pens, something to give away to promote your business, she would be the one to contact. So I'm excited for her. I'm definitely going to check her out online because we believe in supporting our sponsors and business. You know what I'm saying? It's
Mhm.
important. Okay. So having said that, we were talking about taking your bodies lightly, not understanding the power of reproduction, the power of bringing forth
Mhm.
life. You know what I'm saying? That is so. I mean, you can't even fathom. You know what I'm saying? That woman and what she's capable of. And I just, I my goal. That's my goal is to get women to understand not to settle for.
Mhm.
Okay, not to settle for. To be appreciated. Okay, to be appreciated for what she does and what she's capable of.
Mhm.
Okay, uh, with my children, and I advise this for every husband and wife, every couple. You know, when my wife was in delivery, I was at her side. I was in the delivery room with each of my children. I was there 5 times. And I remember coming out of the delivery room when my wife brought my first son in. I mean, I came out of that delivery room. I was like, "Oh my God. Oh my God. Women are special people. Women are special people because if I had to go through what she went through to bring my son into this, I would be here by myself." Okay? And I mean, it's just unbelievable
Mhm.
what she goes through. Some
Mhm.
births are just, my middle daughter, she was in there, in and out, no problems. My oldest son, it was a challenge. His heart kept dropping on and off. They thought they had to perform emergency surgery. I mean, it was just on and off. I mean, and she's going through all this emotional roller coaster. You know what I mean? They
Mhm.
rushing her through. Oh, we're gonna have to prepare for surgery. Next thing, his heart picks back up. Oh no, we're not gonna have to do it. Pick up. I mean, just all the things that she had to go through. And at the end of it, she said to me, and listen to this. She said it wasn't that bad. I'm like, wow, it wasn't that bad. I'm like, honey, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, honey, and I developed. See, that's what's missing is to develop a sensitivity
Mhm.
and an appreciation for the woman, what she goes through to bring life into this world.
Mhm.
Okay. And if a man does not go into that room, if a man does not see what she goes through, believe me, he takes it for granted. He'll take it lightly. He
Mhm.
won't have a clue, okay, as to what a woman is going through and what she's experiencing. Okay.
Mhm.
And with her body.
Mhm.
It all starts with her body, and I can't stress that enough. That's the reason, I wrote that in my book. The number one interest in the world, okay, to the woman. I want you to
Mhm.
understand. Don't don't take your body for granted. I mean, as a cosmetologist, and that's one of the things that we did in our salon when it comes down to service of the woman, her hair, her skin, her nails, I mean, esthetician, her pedicures, I mean, all the things that make her the woman that she is. Take time
Mm-hmm.
for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Take the time, girl. Take the time. We talk about that all the time because, uh, you know, women didn't always feel that she was worthy
Mm-hmm.
to go to the salon and get pampered, to get her nails done,
Mm-hmm.
to get her feet done, to take care of her skin. I mean, we came through. I'm telling, we came through on the tough side of things. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
My sisters is like, oh, we ran out of lotion. What are we gonna do? You can't lotion yourself. You know what I'm saying? My wife was telling me, they came through. What did a woman use? They use Crisco, lard. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this is where we come from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we ran. You run out of toilet paper. My father be like, uh, y'all better get some of that old newspaper. You know what I mean? Just get it, soften it up, rubbing it up. This is what we came through.
Mm-hmm.
So for our women to hear and to know, you are to pamper yourself.
Oh yes. And if you
You.
can't afford the salon, there are ways you can do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny that you said that because I was like, okay, I you know, when I do have the money, I'm too busy. When I want to do it, when I'm not busy, I don't necessarily have it like that because it's tied up in other things. And
Mm-hmm.
I said, I am going to pamper myself because in another world, I would have my dream before they even had them. I wanted to have a day spa where, like you said, where women can go and pamper themselves. They can have everything from a massage on down.
Mm-hmm.
I brought that idea to my mom and everything like that because I used to do my own nails, put designs and everything. I was doing other people's nails, their makeup. I'm a makeup girl.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't even have on all the makeup that I kind of could put on. I kind of
Okay.
just
You
have
you're
the
not in full array, huh?
and I loved it. To me, it was an art, and it made people feel better about themselves.
Yes.
And for someone, just a touch of it, if you just brushed on a little bit of eyeshadow and something, and just how much it would make people feel better. And I was like, just this little thing. Um, and she was like, nobody's gonna pay for that. Da, 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 da. Now that's what they have. I said, man,
Mm-hmm.
I could have been a billionaire. I could have been the person to the stars and things. And I did people's weddings and all kinds of stuff back then. Um, and now that it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, you used to do this for yourself when you were a teenager and everything like that. Took your little money and did it. Go ahead and do it. So I had a pamper day. I didn't do my own nails. I did pay for that, but I came home, turned my little bathroom into a spa.
Mm-hmm.
Did the mask, cut the cucumber. And I used to do this when I was a kid. My mom was like, "What?"
Oh yeah.
Cut the cucumber, put it on my eyes, and everything like that. And
And that really works.
yes, it does.
Oh yeah, that really
And
works.
that's why I was like, I got out of that. I need to do that. And everything like that. So I did that. When I was at the salon, I did the deep tissue massage chair. It just did so much. For me,
Mm-hmm.
and came out feeling great, glowing, and all of that. And I was just like, yeah, I have to get back to this. And it wasn't for anybody. It was for me.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, I mean, men, I'm sure men do it too, but I can only speak from a woman's
Mm-hmm.
perspective, that we tend to do a lot for other people. Even when it comes to makeup, I'm wearing makeup for this guy. I'm wearing these clothes for this guy. I'm wearing these shoes for this guy. And when I was younger, I did this stuff, and people's like, "Oh, well, who are you doing it for?" I said, "For me.
Mhm.
It makes me feel good.
Mhm.
It makes me feel nice. When I wear makeup, I like the way it looks. You know,
Mhm.
I that was, and I told myself that's the type of woman I want to be. If that's
Mhm.
not the type of woman you want to be or whatever, I would get dressed up and just go out. And it's like, oh well, who are you? Oh, so I will go to work with, and I used to wear makeup every day, but
Mhm.
I used to love to jazz up the colors. And I don't know what I did different this day, and everything. It was like, oh, who were you meeting after work?
Mhm.
And I had another female coach. She's like, "What's the big deal? You wear makeup every day." They
Mhm.
was like, "Oh, she looks extra nice today."
Mhm.
And I think that might have been a day that I had a home spa day because I couldn't afford to do it or didn't have the time to go to the salons. When you go to those places, sometimes you have to wait in line. At home, I don't
Mhm.
have to wait in line. I could just
Mhm.
do what needs to get done. And they're like,
Mhm.
"Oh, you're glowing." I said, "Oh, that was my new astringent."
Yes. Yes.
That,
Yes.
that made my skin glow. It wasn't a person.
Mhm.
But it's just that, this the mentality is that we're doing this for someone or to impress them.
Mhm.
And no, it was just to feel good. And sometimes you can do it just to make yourself feel better. Those little things make a world of difference. Something like that can pull you out of feeling low and feeling down.
Mhm.
Just something that simple because you did it for you. It was self-care.
Mhm. Self-care. And that's so important because what happens is it's a dual process, you know what I'm saying? Because the woman starts out, and that's the start of it, is just taking care of herself. Yeah, I mean, that's the
Mhm.
foundation, you know what I'm saying? Not so much where I'm going to uh, put this on and I'm going to turn all these heads.
Right.
That comes at some point. The start of it is to take care of the beautiful individual that you are, to take care of what God has given you, to take
Mhm.
care of your body. See,
Mhm.
it's important to encourage women because it is so important to understand that a woman has the ability to do for others before she will do for herself.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? See, that's a natural ability. That's an innate behavior that women have, and it's given to her by God because of motherhood.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? And before we understand that, we use it against her because she has the ability to sacrifice herself
Mhm.
for others. It's used against her
Mhm.
because we have to get her to understand she has it and to use it in motherhood.
Mhm.
However, when it comes outside of motherhood, we have to empower her to understand, don't use it and don't let it be used against her. Don't
Mhm.
let yourself go. Okay.
Mhm.
See, a lot of people don't understand that. Well, why would she do that? Why would she do that? Because it's in her. See,
Right.
it's not in men. Men are not naturally self-sacrificing.
No.
And okay, don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? Those are things that you have to understand the nature. That's the reason I'm saying it's not that equal thing. You ask a man, do you feel like going and getting my shoes today? He said, no, I don't feel like it. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Do you mind driving an extra mile? No, I don't feel like it.
Mhm.
So you ask a woman, do you would you mind going? She says, no, I don't feel like it. However, see,
I'll do it anyway.
You see
just to make you happy.
that that's what we've got to begin to understand and deal with. And
Hmm.
we can't use it against her because if we use it against her, we don't understand her.
Well, here's the
Okay.
thing too.
Go ahead.
That's a double-edged sword. Again, speaking as a woman,
Mm-hmm.
um, and being the type of woman that I am, like my friends say, I'm a spoiler. I am. That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and everything. And so it's, oh, do you mind doing? And you say, well, no, I don't mind, or I really just can't do it. That's used against you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Setting firm boundaries is used against you.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you don't have boundaries, it's used against you.
Mm-hmm.
We are the only gender where
Mm-hmm.
it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I stated in the beginning, a man's no is no. He
Mm-hmm.
can say, I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, okay. Well, let's get somebody else to do it. A woman can say, I don't want to, and it's like, Susie Jane,
Mm-hmm.
how could you not want to do X, Y, and Z?
Mm-hmm.
But it's for Jimmy over there. But I'm about to pass out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before you pass out, can you go do?
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah.
And
Th-
we're the only gender that happens to.
and that's the reason when we talk about used against her, um, it is important. Uh, my godmother, and I've said this before, children need their fathers in their lives, no matter if he's sorry or not.
Right.
See, a father's job is to develop his daughter to be smarter, more determined, and more sophisticated than he is. See,
Mm-hmm.
that's a father's job.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you said, there's an attempt to, this saying, uh, I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. You know what I'm saying? See, see, that's the father's job in the woman's life is to be able to say or to draw from what Andrew Carnegie said. Andrew Carnegie said, before I die, I want to make sure I give and distribute all my money away, all my money. I want to make sure I don't want to die holding anything.
Mm-hmm.
But listen to what he said. He said, I want to give my money away where it does the least damage.
Yes.
Okay. Because he understood when you give money away, you're damaging people.
Mm-hmm.
That's you're damaging people. You're taking away that drive.
Mm-hmm.
You're reducing the hunger. See,
Mm-hmm.
there's a hunger
Mm-hmm.
that a man has. There's a hunger that a woman has. And
Mm-hmm.
when you give away, you're doing damage.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the role of the father is to begin to understand I want to empower my daughter to make decisions that will do the least amount of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because she'll damage that man if she's not equipped to make those decisions that does the least damage.
Right.
Okay. 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 Wherein I would do that. I would do that for you. I can't do it because it's going to be damaging.
Mm-hmm.
Not to me. Okay. Not to me because I'm a giver. She's a giver. But it's going to be damaging to you.
Mm-hmm.
See.
Mm-hmm.
See that?
Mhm.
See that's the side that we've got to get her operating and working in, because she's got to know, can't do that because that's going to damage you.
Right.
Okay, that's going to damage you. That's going to damage you, baby. Okay,
Exactly.
that's going that's going to put you in a position that I don't want you in. I don't want you in that position. Okay,
Hmm.
that's like that's like I was talking to some people the other day, and I want the responsibility. This is Dr. Love speaking. I want the responsibility to fall on the woman to say this: the last thing I need is for you to produce a child with me that would hinder you from financially developing and expanding yourself.
Absolutely.
You see how we set that up? Okay. I'm not talking about me. I'm not talking about her taking a child home. See, I don't want to be on that end of it. Okay. I want her to be on the end of it. Listen, you've got to prepare yourself, young man.
Yes.
You've got to educate yourself.
Hmm.
You've got to develop yourself. Okay. And the last thing you need, okay, is for me to produce a child, or for you to produce a child in me, and now you gotta stop what you're doing. You can't finish high school, you can't finish your college, or you can't finish your trade, or you can't do what it is that you need to do because you produced a child. Okay, I want her to be able to make the decision that would do the least amount of damage.
Well, and
Isn't that?
here is the
Go ahead.
responsibility as well. And we're already at the top of the hour, so we're
Oh
going to
my.
start to try to roll this up. Always a fun time and fun discussion and thought provoking is before you get to producing a child, there is a responsibility. And that responsibility primarily
Mm-hmm.
falls on the woman's body.
Mm-hmm.
Now, should it? No, because this woman did not produce this child, this miracle by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a responsibility on both ends,
Mm-hmm.
a responsibility for the man to have over his body, because there are certain things he can do,
Mm-hmm.
and there are certain things that she can do.
Mm-hmm.
But even now, in the progressive state that we're in, that responsibility on the oldest act in all of creation
Mm-hmm.
is still rests in the hands and on the body and in the body of the woman.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the discussion that is not had. And the reason why it is not had is because, again, we are the only gender where our no is questioned and the other one is not.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps so there should be some questions or some responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
or hey, everybody wants to write things in law where he can he should, his no should not be a no.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe should be the discussion. And I know it's controversial. Again,
Mm-hmm.
this is this okay, we're going to give this disclaimer. All
Go
content that is discussed today is the opinion
ahead.
of
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
The
Mhm.
host on this show.
Mhm.
It does not reflect
Mhm.
the opinions
Views and opinions.
of everyone in this world,
Mhm.
of everyone in this country.
Mhm.
City, your living room. I have to give that disclaimer because, again, there are strong opinions on both genders with that. But
That's
if
right.
we're going to look at responsibility and talk about responsibility and respecting a woman's body
Mhm.
and her right to choose and her right
Mhm.
to say no,
Mhm.
then there has to be discussion on the other side.
Mhm.
Everyone, has their strong opinions on both sides.
Mhm.
I have no opinion on what's right and what's wrong.
Mhm.
I have an opinion on what's right and what's wrong for Katrina,
Mhm. For me.
as is with everyone else. But if you're going to make laws and put people in jail or have corporate punishment for the one side where the act includes both genders,
Mhm.
then there has to be a discussion
Mm.
of the responsibility
Mhm.
because historically and even currently, that responsibility is not there. Even the shame of having a child
Mhm.
and you're young,
Mhm.
having a child
Mhm.
and you're not married. Even
Mhm.
now, the shame is not on that man.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I've heard even growing up, oh, she got herself pregnant. Really? How?
She didn't get herself.
And I've heard and growing up, and I was young, and my mom looked at me and she laughed when it was like, oh, I accidentally got her pregnant. I said, oh, you slipped and fell, and
Mhm. And
she just
water went everywhere.
right, and she just so happened to be there. Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah, she got
miss.
wet. Yes.
That is most times, hopefully, a consensual
Mhm.
act. Most times,
Mhm.
and both thought about it. It wasn't an accident. You didn't sleepwalk. You didn't trip over the curb, and she just, you knocked her on the ground by
Mhm.
accident, bumped into her. That was a constant thing, and it is both genders, no matter what race,
Mhm.
that one gender can walk away
Mhm.
and not lose anything, not reputation, not salary, not anything.
Mhm. Not
You
time
see
off the job.
the time. Well, they do have that now.
Mhm.
They do have paternity leave now. So
Mhm.
they did start that for the ones who wants to be there.
Mhm.
But the negative connotation on it, even when it goes to the pro-life, is still on the woman, and for shame you're doing this.
Mhm.
But she didn't get into this predicament by herself.
By herself.
And my mom used to say, she was like, every time something happens with a child, the first thing they say is, where is your mother?
Mhm.
It doesn't matter if that's a female child or a male child. They never say, where is your father?
Mhm. Yes. Yes.
It's never a thing. The pressures and the burdens of those things always fall squarely on the one.
Mhm.
So even like you said, if it's a choice of I'm not going to put you in a predicament where this holds you up,
Mhm.
there has to be a conversation on the other side had
Mhm.
where I'm not going to put you in a position where this causes you shame, where this holds you up, because most of the time in that situation is the woman that doesn't finish school.
Mhm.
It's the woman who loses time.
That's right.
Because again, they can walk off and do, and even if they stay together, they still can do.
That's right. That's right.
So when it comes to, it's a bigger conversation when it comes to taking and respecting um, the body of a woman, because she has more to lose. And that's just the way things are done and written and taught.
That's the design. That is the design. And we can't reinvent the wheel, but
Mm-hmm.
I always say responsibility, the
Mm-hmm.
ability to choose your response.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, you have to choose the right response because you
Mm-hmm.
have every everything to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is riding on this. Everything is hinging upon it. So that's the reason we want you to be clear that the woman's body is the number one interest in the world.
Is.
And it is to be governed, watched over, respected in the highest manner by first her and him included.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's in, that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know we're at the hour.
We are.
Time flies when you're having fun. But women, take care of yourself. Don't let yourself go. You're too valuable. You're too important.
Yes. And I just want to say, as controversial and sensitive as this can be, this conversation is made to provoke thought and to consider things differently.
Mm,
We've seen said before, the only thing constant in life is change.
mm-hmm,
Now we're at the precipice of another change. So since we are, maybe the conversations need to start changing,
mm-hmm,
and the mindsets and the thoughts needs to be provoked to, okay, since we find ourselves here, how do we move on from here? How do we still get to the place where we protect the woman's body? And how do we include the other party that
mm-hmm,
is responsible
mm-hmm,
for the woman in this predicament? Because she
mm-hmm.
wasn't in this, she didn't go into this predicament alone.
That's right.
But when
Wasn't a
she
solo.
walked in that door, or when this decision was handed down, it was handed down on her alone and impacted her body alone.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, we do thank you for joining us for this thought provoking conversation. And hopefully, it will provoke you to conversate about it more and really
Absolutely.
think of it outside of the emotion, the outrage, whatever you may feel, and sitting down and having that logical, intelligent converse. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night.
Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of High Tea with Me. To be a guest on the show, contact us via email info@ventureready.net. Thank you again, and see you next week.